Alright, so this is a project that I've been thinking about and wanting to work on for a little while, kind of debating how I want to do it and if I want to do it, all that fun kind of stuff. But here we are, I've decided to give this a shot. So, for starters, hello and welcome. I'm going to be calling this a segment Coleslaw of My Consciousness. It's going to be kind of a series of different things, all a little bit writing based, almost podcasty. I'll be talking about writing. Some of it I'm going to be sharing my actual story segments, occasional book reviews, things like that. So basically, like I said, this is called Coleslaw of My Consciousness. That title comes from a book that I have recently started reading. The book is by Natalie Goldberg. It's called Writing Down the Bones, and this is actually in some ways one of her recommendations that was very early in the book about just helping getting stories going and trying out some different writing ideas. One of her things very early was something you can do is try different forms of writing, writing pen on paper, typing out on a computer, and then something more like this, where you're talking story ideas aloud and recording them, and then you listen to those story ideas back. And you can kind of work from there in order to get a better sense of your writing style and what's working well in the story and what's not. And just to give it a different feel, because she talks about having written something down with pen and paper has a little bit different feel than when you're typing it out on a computer. So if you're reading/writing your story by talking it out loud, it's going to have a different feel and perhaps have some differences going on that you wouldn't normally have, and it can help you just widen your perspective and maybe find some other things that you want to be working and writing about. So I'm going to be trying this out a little bit. The first segment that I want to do is from a story that I am currently just calling Amelia. It's not a very exciting title, but the main character in the story is called Amelia. So that's basically what I've got right now. The major pertinent information that you guys would need listening to this for the story is that Amelia's husband has died, and this scene that I'm going to be doing is in part a reaction to his death, kind of a few months down the road, part of how she's trying to work through and cope with things, and it's just an idea that I've been toying with a little bit of what I want to do. So I'm going to read out that scene for you guys, and feel free to comment, tell me what you think, if you think the scene has any worth or value, or if you think it's complete trash. Obviously, criticism is going to be very useful and is in part why I'm doing this, even if I mostly am doing it to get criticism from myself and hearing it out loud in that sense, but criticism from others is generally useful with writing as well. So, without further ado, let me go break into that scene for you guys, and we'll go from there. "You bought a snake?" Melody asked incredulously. "Yes," I answered patiently. "It's a ball python." "Why?" "Because I wanted a life to look out for again. I wanted someone to come home to. I wanted to feel like there was life in the house again, beyond my own, so it wasn't quite so lonely here." "But a snake? Why not a cat or a dog? They're just as much of a life that you could have had at home and been watching out for." I shrugged, even though Melody couldn't see me through the phone. The timing seemed right to me to get him, and he's actually a rescue snake. One of his eyes was injured, and he could only see out of one eye now. He needed a good home, and I felt that I was someone who would be able to give it. "He?" Melody asked, a different tone rising in her voice. "And what would his name be?" "Monty," I answered jauntily, knowing what she'd expect me to say, but she couldn't have known the way I expressed my pain at losing Howard if she thought I'd name my pet after him. I knew I couldn't replace Howard. Monty was around to help me have another life to be excited about, but not to replace Howard. Melody paused for a long moment on the other side of the line. "Are you sure you're okay? Spontaneously buying a pet doesn't seem entirely healthy to me." I laughed. I'm fine, Melody. Better than I felt in a long time. Monty was the pick-me-up I needed to help me figure out where I was wanting my life to go now. I specifically went to look for a rescue animal. I was at a shelter. I was hoping to find something just like him. Maybe I wasn't planning on picking a snake, but Monty is exactly what I wanted and needed right now. So yes, I am very comfortable and confident with this decision. Okay, Melody said, sounding just a little bit hesitant even still. I hope you know what you're getting yourself into, sister. I would hate for this to cause you big problems in the sense of it being just some coping mechanism that you'll want to get rid of in a few days. You know that pets are a big part of your life, and I would hate to see you abandon a life after just barely finding it. Melody, it's fine. I've thought this through. I didn't just randomly buy a pet. I'd been considering for a while how I wanted to best bring a life into my life again. I could have moved in with a roommate or something, but I felt like a pet was a good step to take, so that there was someone around for me to feel like I could come home to, but I didn't necessarily have to associate on the days that I still feel really down. The snake is not going to mind if I don't want to be chatty, whereas sometimes a roommate might be. So this is going to be a good coping mechanism for me, I promise. Melody took a long, deep breath and sighed. All right, sister, I'm going to trust you. I hope you enjoy your time with Monty. Maybe I'll be able to visit soon so that I can meet him as well. I'd really like that. I smiled into the phone. The conversation ended a few minutes later after we talked about a few more innocuous things. All right, everyone. So again, as I mentioned, that was me doing my Coleslaw of Consciousness podcast-y type thing. This is the first segment that I'm putting on here. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully it wasn't too bad, but if it is, feel free to criticize. In part, what I'm doing this for is for criticism and feedback so that I can write better stories. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you during the next episode of this series.